Hello everyone, I'm Laura Cornish, Editor-in-Chief of Mining Review Africa, coming to you from Mining Indaba 2022 at the end. And of course I'm joined by Tom Quinn. As you know, Tom is the Head of Content for Mining Indaba and he's going to give us a nice wrap-up of this year's live events. Tom, thank you for joining me.
Not at all, always a pleasure to work with you, Laura. And I'm just amazed by the amount of people we've seen at Mining Indaba this year. It's really fantastic.
How are you feeling after this event?
A little tired. I won't lie to you, but we thought maybe 4,500 people would join. It's more like 6,500 people. And it's been fantastic. And I think getting people like President Ramaphosa in place, the presidents of Zambia, PM of DRC, these guys have really made a difference to who's coming. So it's been a good Indaba. It's great to see everyone around.
Good to see people face to face, eh?
Definitely.
So Tom, at the end of 4 days, you've had a fantastic content lineup, fantastic speakers as you always do. What were some of the key highlights for you from this year?
I think really energy transition has been a key point. We've had Natasha Wilhelm from Anglo Platinum. We've had Duncan Wanblad. We've managed to get the exclusive on him as the new chief executive of Anglo American. We've had Fortune Majapello from Bushveld Minerals. A lot of the battery metal suppliers have been very proactive in terms of wanting to come on board and do speaking and content with us. And I think that's the critical thing. With gold is always a safe harbor asset when geopolitical situations go up and down. But I think the big difference this year is battery metals. Yeah.
You covered the theme of ESG quite heavily this year. Was it well received? I mean, it's obviously well timed. It's such a pertinent topic in the mining industry at the moment. How's that been received from a content perspective?
I think it's been received very well. And I think the difference is that most companies know that this is something that they need to address and address very quickly. With the boardrooms, as we've seen with Rio Tinto, for example, they're not immune to ESG values, and they need to build this into their strategy for what's to come. And I think we've had a lot of CEOs talking about ESG, but in a very proactive, definable way, rather than just tick boxing, as maybe we've seen in the past. And I think everyone from Barrick, B2 Gold, Anglo Plats, all the big players in Africa are actually talking about this in the way that they address this. The ICMM, for example, this morning we did the resume from Alternative Mining Indaba, and the ICMM were heavily involved in that. And they want to listen to people talking about how they want to address ESG in their communities. And I think that's really important. I think it's something that Mining Indaba can be a big part of in the future.
So Tom, we've spoken ESG, You've spoken battery metals. Is mining Indaba this year a representation of time to invest in mining in Africa?
I think, yeah, you got to be a fool if you're not investing in metals in Africa right now. I mean, there's current geopolitical situations going on, particularly with Russia and Ukraine, and that's affecting supply chains. I think Africa has a huge opportunity to step up. Elon Musk was on the Financial Times yesterday talking about whether he would actually buy a mining company to secure supply. So yeah, I think this is hugely exciting time. Given the wealth, particularly in South Africa, for platinum group metals, but also in terms of how mining can change the way that communities work. And we want to be a part of that. We want to make that happen.
And that's what's going to make mining Indaba grow from strength to strength, Tom, is focusing in on the important topics of mining that we really need to be talking about. So from my perspective, it's been an amazing mining Indaba. I've enjoyed networking and seeing all our colleagues and seeing you, Tom. And I look forward to the next one, which is in February next year, right?
It is. We're getting back to February. We're making a point of it. So yeah, everyone can see us back in February of next year. And that's only 9 months away. So we've got
a lot of work to do.
We got work to do, but the impetus is there. And it's just amazing to see so many people in the same area after 2 years, 2 very long years of not having a mining event here in Africa.
Absolutely, Tom. It's such a pleasure as always. Thank you so much for the roundup and for a great Mining Indaba 2022.
My pleasure.
It's been fantastic catching up with Tom. Great insights, great roundup of Mining Indaba, and of course, the next best person to talk to in terms of that is the Minerals Council Southern Africa. So Allan is the spokesperson for the Minerals Council. Allan, it's good to have you with me.
Thank you very much for having us.
So tell me about how Minerals Council has enjoyed Mining Indaba 2022.
Well, look, it's the first time we've been back since early 2020, and so much has changed in the industry. And I think after doing virtual conferences for so long, to be here, pressing the flesh, meeting people we haven't seen for so long, and our partners from around the world, to be here, seeing them in person, being able to have a cup of coffee with someone is just incredible. It makes such a difference in your relationship. And I think that's what the Mining Indaba is all about. It's about sharing experiences, learning, and building relationships. And you can only really do that in person.
Connecting, hey?
Connecting, exactly.
So Allan, Minerals Council is such a strategic partner to Mining Indaba. You play an active role here. You've got a lot of presence here. All of your guys have been speaking. What are some of the key topics or areas that have been addressed this year?
Well, look, the big one is what mining industry means for South Africa. So we've released figures showing how we bailed out the economy for 2 years running. We're a 1.2 trillion rand industry measured by production value. We've contributed so much to taxes, communities, our employees, but the flip side of the contribution is that while production values are at record highs above R1 trillion, production base remains relatively flat. And that's the key message we've been driving home here, is that we can do so much to the country, but we need the partnership with government. So on logistics, for example, on infrastructure like energy, we need the government to join us as a partner, and we can move the country, we can add even more to the country and our communities.
So, I mean, South Africa needs investment in the mining industry. We need more attention on the country. What is Mineral Council's stance on that?
Well, the fundamental starting point is the cadastral system. We need an online, transparent system where people can lodge mining or exploration rights. We can't grow the industry without exploration and new deposits. So that is the fundamental starting point. The government is sitting on, or the DMRE is sitting on a backlog of more than 4,000 mining and prospecting rights. We'd like to get that resolved. The perception of the industry, as seen in the Fraser Institute, We rank 75 out of 84 jurisdictions. It's not great. And so we want to work with the government. How do we address the underlying problems and then elevate the perception of the country? Once we have that going, once we have the logistics working, we have energy, we've got renewable energy projects of more than 65 billion rand, 4 gigawatts of projects waiting to go, but regulatory hurdles are stopping us. So once we get all that going, the perception will change.
And do you feel you are going to get that going? Are we going to get there, Allan? Are you confident?
Lord, the president's speech is the most positive speech I've heard in more than 20 years of covering the mining Indaba. That speech by the President Ramaphosa is one of the most remarkable I've heard at this conference. It was positive, it acknowledged the role of the mining industry, and it stressed the importance of partnerships. And the President wasn't shy about identifying the bottlenecks or the constraints in the industry. And he's opened his government up to talking about it and moving forward. Water use licenses, land, environmental permitting, everything. Everything he said is what we want to hear. There's so much potential. You just want to unlock it as quickly as you can. And I think the President's hearing that message.
Okay. So you're feeling positive. That's amazing.
Very.
Allan, it's been obviously great for the Minerals Council this year. You intend to support mining Indaba moving forward?
Look, we're a key partner with Mining Indaba. This is one of our flagship events. It's where we get to tell our story and again, it addresses perception and highlights the positives of our interaction with the government. And also to flag where perhaps there are areas that need a bit of work. But overall, it's a very positive experience, and this is an event we want to attend and we will support.
Excellent. Allan, that's a great closing statement and an absolute wrap. Thank you so much for joining
Pleasure.
me.
Thanks for having us.
What a wrap. Great content to come from Tom and also from Allan. If you want to see more videos that have come out of Mining Indaba 2022, please visit www.miningreview.com. Cheers.